What is going on? Where is it pulling this from? That is not my camera. Okay, hold on, guys. Every week there's something else. The camera must have frozen. All right. Man. All right. Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. I'm your host, Joshua Seth. We know that because it says it on the bottom. I think my software got a little bit confused there because I actually just finished giving a webinar presentation for a corporate client. That's right. I'm still isolating at home. How about you? Just going on, I think, is this still, what month is this? May? So it must be May 183, I think. There's 1,000 days in May, I guess. So we're about maybe a third of the way through it. That's what it feels like. Anyway, so yes, I've been pivoting. I've been working on my new online course. I just released the free intro version to that this morning. We'll get into that momentarily. But first I want to see how you guys are doing, and then I'll get to what I've been doing. And there's a hi. Let me just get my name off of here. Say, oh, the cameos. That's right. Still nobody asking me to record a breakup video or anything, but we've been doing a lot of cameos, a couple of them every day. It's been fun. I did 2 this morning. Hey, by the way, apologies to anybody who has ordered an autographed 8x10 off of my website. We have that one. We have this one. I have only been going out to the post office once a week. So I'll be doing that today after this live stream and autographing them. Anybody who wants one, get them soon, because I'm going to be taking that off of my website. It's just so much easier to do the cameos than these autographs and running to the post office, which I just don't want to do anymore and have to like mask up and deal with all that. So if you still want autographed 8x10s, they will be gone soon. I just put there it is, the link the website link there at the bottom and in the chat. I will probably have those gone by next week because I feel bad when people order them on a Monday, then have to wait till Friday to deliver them, and then you get them, who knows, it takes forever for the mail. Now, much better to do these Cameo video shoutouts. Alrighty then, let's get on with that. Hey, I have my cool new switcher. Boom! I used a switcher. How slick was that? Watch this. Shebang! Shaboom! Okay. Nice. Nobody cares. And a monitor on a little bit loud over there. All right. So, yeah. Hans understands. There are 1,500 days in May. Sometimes it feels that way. It's weird. For an extrovert like me, that's out in the world, on the go, what people would call a jet setter, flying all over the world, doing events and recording movies and jumping on stages and grabbing microphones in front of crowds. My whole life has been structured that way for decades. Now, suddenly, at home. It's been great to spend time with the kids and all, but even that, this is if my kids are watching, congratulations on finishing your school year. And oh, wait a second. Do I hear bring bring? Yes. Hello? It's your teacher. It's your teacher, kids. They're done. They're over it. They're saying bye-bye. Wait, here, it's for you. They're saying there's no more school. Congratulations! School is over. School's out for summer. Yay for you. What are we supposed to do? The parents. The camps are closed. The schools are closed. What am I going to do? Cry. All right. Back to your comments and then on to our content, because that is how we do the show. Hey, Noah. We've got some regulars in here. Am I going to have a special guest on here? Not this week. I intend to start up with the special guests again next week, but because I just launched my free Intro to Voice training course this morning, I thought I'd talk about that today, and there won't be time to also have an extra guest. So, we had a little technology snafu at the beginning. Oh, yeah, so I was saying, I just finished giving a webinar presentation for a corporate client. Hey, if you're running meetings from home, if you still have a job anywhere for a company, you should get them in touch with me. The keynotes, the virtual keynotes I charge for because, I got to make a living too. But the webinars I do for free, I basically just rip back the curtain and show how you can show up better. Here's what it looks like. It looks like... and take advantage of all the technology that is available to us. But the most important technology that never changes is this, okay? So, mics may change, cameras, lighting, software, platforms, all this stuff changes, and that webinar is me telling people about best practices and how to use it. But the most incredible technology of all is the human body, mind, spirit itself, what we already have within us. We are an instrument, and communication is how we play it. But most of us have never learned to tune it. So a lot of you want to become voice actors. A lot of you want to become speakers. A lot of you might be content creators out there. You would benefit from improving your communication skills, learning how to unlock your instrument. And your voice is the primary way you communicate with someone else. As a voice actor, that's what I do, and that's what I will be teaching as well. But without further ado, let me put the link to that in the chat box so you guys can sign up. We're talking about it, and then if you have any questions, you can answer it a little bit later on. I will check out your comments, and then I will get into some info about what this free 5-video series is all about. Okay, so boom, that link. I know that's a long link, but you don't have to type it because it's in the chat box. And it's also in the YouTube description box down below. Hey, I finally learned how to point backwards like this. And also see my book in the back. I was like, oh yeah, I wrote a book. It's all about like how to find focus in a changing world. That's pretty much the title. You might benefit from reading it or listening to it. You can get it on Amazon, and the link is in the description underneath as well. I've been having such a good time on Fridays doing these lives. What is this, like the fourth or fifth one already, that I sometimes forget to say, hey, like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with your friends. Get the book. That sort of thing. So there it is. But right now, I just want you to get this, okay? This is, I've worked for 2 months putting together a course, like an online course to train people how to use their voices better. I thought maybe I'll do it like just for voice actors. And a couple weeks ago, I released my PDF guide to how to become a voice actor. That's enough to sort of get you started. But ultimately, it's not enough to know like how to audition or how to make a demo or whatever. None of that really matters if you don't first train your voice. So that's why I ended up just creating a course based on voice training, because whether you want to be a speaker, a salesperson, a leader, if you're in management, you're in leadership training, you learn communication skills. If you want to be an on-camera actor, let alone voice actor, like any kind of a presenter, you need to learn to use your voice and your instruments like that. All right. And then you can be like me and never have a real job. just through the power of communication, make amazing things happen in your life. So, but you can't be in Akira like Tetsuo, because I already did that. So you want to hear the Tetsuo laugh, Jennifer M? How do I do that? I got to remember what that laugh is. I'm looking at the Akira poster on my wall right there as we speak. So let's see. Usually when I get into the Tetsuo voice, which for those of you that have not seen Akira, also called Akira, I always say that's the best thing I ever did. Akira is the favorite thing I ever did because it gave me a following and a career. Digimon, rather, gave me a following and a career. But Akira, that's like the highest quality thing I ever did. And it's for free. You could see it on Hulu right now. All right, so this is how I get into the voice. Kaneda! He screams a lot. But the laugh, I can't remember right now what the laugh is. Probably something like that. Here, that's this guy. I'd have to watch it again to do a voice reference from you. Okay. You get hyper. Well, none of us know that because you're there and we're here. If we were doing this on Zoom, we'd see you guys bouncing around going, yay. Digimon. Yes. I mean, look, you guys have been fans of Digimon for 20 years. It gave me a career. Always be grateful for that. Also, I got my little tie pop here. Come on, guys. Let's save the world. You know you've made it in Hollywood when you get a pop after your character. Am I right? All right. Put him over there. All right. So now kind of, yeah, like that was like an evil tie laugh. Well, I mean, they are all me after all. Yes, the tie's crest is the crest of courage. And that is the thing that tells us to take action and do the right thing despite adversity, despite fear. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It is doing what needs to be done despite the fear. So saith I. You can get a Funko Pop, like they're like $10 on Amazon. It's not like I bought up all of them. I have a bunch for when we go to Comic-Cons, if that ever happens again. Wasn't that fun having my friend Jeff Nimoy on last week, now that the Comic-Cons were all canceled and he made that famous movie? That was pretty great. Thanks for all watching that. That was very well attended. Okay, so Noah, the Digimon better than Pokemon thing. For a while there, I was the intro guy on the CW. So I had to intro Pokemon. Next on an all-new Pokemon on Kids WB. So in a way, I did Pokemon and Digimon, but I will agree with you that Digimon is better than Pokemon simply because there's a character arc and we learn things and we grow, and like that's like life, right? Well, Canada may never get the good stuff in anime, but you all get healthcare, so 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Let's see. The New York City which is the New York City Comic-Con? All these cities have multiple Comic-Cons. I think you guys, well, it's New York City. You must have a gigantic one. I'm not sure what that is. All right, I'm going to move on to the content in a second here. But, oh, man. Detroit, I've done a lot of college shows in Detroit. Several times I've done Detroit Mercy, I want to call it. And a couple other colleges, but it's been a while. I always like that Detroit airport because there's that tunnel that you go down, that tunnel that it's just lights. And actually, you know what? I have the tunnel. I have the tunnel from Detroit right here. Wait, I'll show you my new toys. Okay, check it out. The tunnel from the Detroit airport. That's me walking down the tunnel. The Detroit airport. Anyone who's ever been there will know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? All right, enough of that. The green screen. Yes, well, we save that, for special events. I put on a shirt for this. I'm feeling like enough of the black t-shirt. I've worn a black t-shirt for every day for 2 months. Since I went to film school in New York City, I've always worn black t-shirts, but I've never worn them as much as this. So I took the t-shirt off after 2 months, and now it's walking around on its own over in the hallway there. Hi, black t-shirt. Put something on. So green screen, green shirt. That's the color. That's the color of the day. That's right. That's right. Breaking news. The color of the day is green t-shirt. Green. Mississippi? Sure. But you guys realize there aren't going to be any cons for a while. Nothing has changed. Things are opening up, but that doesn't mean that like 1,000 people are going to get together in a room anytime soon. Really? Mojami Music, keep the green screen up. It's... You don't like my background of extra soundproofing foam squares that I put up there? I like it. Makes me feel like I'm in a recording booth, which in a way I am. Agumon, Tom Fon is a funny guy, Steve Rogers. So I think I'm in contact with his wife on Twitter. I'll see about that. Oh, you like both back? Oh, thank you. All right, so moving on from this, let's get to the real news. Here's the real news. Free voice training. That's right. Free voice training. Boom. There's the link. What is it? How will it benefit you? Why should you care? Well, let's get into that. All right. Like I say in my communication keynotes, communication is not just what you say, it's how you say it. And we spend our lives training our minds to know what we are talking about so that people will listen to us. But do they listen to us? Or do they just ignore you, interrupt you, tune you out? And if that's the case, it probably doesn't have anything to do with what you're saying. It probably has to do with how you're saying it. That comes down to tone of voice and body language. In other words, style rather than content. Do you like the sound of your voice? If you are like most people, the answer is probably no. If you've ever listened to your voice back on a recording, or as you are recording things online right now, if you listen to it back, you probably think to yourself, is that what I sound like? Right? Yeah. Yes, it is. People are like, no, that's just what it sounds like in the recording. No, that's actually how you sound to other people. And we think that just because we can make noises and we could speak, we learn how to make sounds out of our mouths, that we understand this stuff. But actually, most of us are walking around with vocal weaknesses. Some common ones are a monotone delivery like this, where there's no variance in pace or pitch. Bueller. Are any of you even old enough to know that reference of the econ teacher? Does anyone know the year the Smoot-Hawley-Taft law went into effect? Or whatever? He doesn't even say it that interestingly. He's just talking like this, and everybody in the class is tuning him out. Or vocal fry, which is like, sometimes I'll throw a little bit of vocal fry into characters just to make them interesting, but people actually talk like this and lose their voices, get strained, get hoarse, cough, that sort of thing. Uptalk. This is a common vocal weakness, isn't it? Except that they talk up at the end of their sentences. Without being aware of the musicality of speech, you may actually project subservience or weakness or the seeking of rapport by speaking in a questioning way at the end of your sentences. Like, the seeking rapport is always a low status way to enter or maintain a conversation. When you're speaking with vocal power, you are the one that is creating and maintaining rapport yourself, and others come to you. That's called having a magnetic personality. So instead of you moving toward the influence of other people, you yourself become more influential. And then finally, proper placement, because we place our voices in our head or in our chest or a blend of the two, primarily unconsciously. If you're not aware of diaphragmatic breathing technique, breath support, physiology, and placement, how are you going to be a voice actor or a professional speaker or a presenter, trainer, leader, salesperson of any note, any influence, or any power without understanding this stuff? This is foundational. It's fundamental. It comes before and ahead of any content that you are speaking. It informs the way that people will respond to you, because when you speak better, people will respond to you better. So I've put together this Train Your Voice, Change Your Life course. And as an introduction to it, I'm giving away 5 free videos. That's the link that I put down in the description down below and into the chat earlier. So what will you learn in this course? Well, my objective is to help you find your authentic voice. I remember when I was a young voice actor, I didn't even really know what my real voice was. A lot of times people say, oh, Ty sounds like you. That's because I pretty much sounded like this all the time. I had a young, immature sounding voice. I was 25 years old. People would call the house and say, may I talk to your parents? Are your parents home? I'd be like, I own this house. Hey, you. I'm pretty serious, actually. I did not know how to place my voice. Yes, I parlayed it into a voiceover career, but I didn't have any range, so it was limiting until I learned to really train my voice. And I took Alexander technique training, and I took training with a coach that trains opera singers, and I really learned how to tap into the power of my authentic voice to become more influential in every relationship in my life. And you can too. That's my primary objective, actually, in teaching you how to use your voice and training your voice. Training your voice also means learning how to connect your voice with your body and your physiology, because your posture and the way you hold yourself influences how powerful your voice comes across, how much volume and resonance you have, and for how long you can speak without suffering from vocal strain. It also impacts your ability to command other people's attention without yelling at them. So in some of my roles, I play powerful people, and I speak very slowly and very softly. Yes, because when you're very powerful, you don't need to raise your voice. People will do what you say, even if you lift your pinky finger or a single eyebrow. You don't need to yell at them, right? But you need to understand all of the variance that you have within your voice in order to make those choices in the first place. Placing your voice, right? Where in your physiology, in your chest, in your throat, in your head, in your facial mask, to place it so that it makes the kind of impact that you want to. Again, this is not just for voice actors, but really is useful for people that want to learn voice acting, because this is how we come up with characters in large part. But really, in your life, if you want to speak so people will hear you and want to listen to you, then training your voice is what will allow that to happen. Again, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. And if you're saying it online, a lot of us are spending all day online, on Zoom, on Teams, on online presentations like this, on YouTube, on social media. Well, the kind of microphone you use, the mixers, basic understanding of acoustics, sound dampening, room tone, these sorts of things, that's important too. I'll be covering that as well. And if you're just afraid of public speaking, well, then you're limiting your ability to magnify your message in life. There's a reason that public speaking is the highest paid profession in the world. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but like I just signed a contract for a virtual keynote I'm going to be recording soon. It's 5 figures. It'll take me less than an hour because it's not one-to-one. I'm speaking one to many, many thousands at this point, and delivering value, of course. But it's that bullhorn that allows you to magnify your message and not value your time, not value your expertise based on the time that you spend, but the impact that you have. So the more people that you're able to impact, the greater your influence will be, and the more you can make in life too. So overcoming a fear of public speaking means allowing yourself to advance in your career and stand out in your field as well. So that's why I put together this 5-video free voice training course. If you like it, of course, you could sign up for the paid course, which I'm running a 50% off offer on as I'm building it out as people go through it. But here's one last time, and then I'll get back to your questions. The link to the course itself in the chat box in the description down below. The videos are free. It'll go into a lot more information about voice training, what it is, how it can help you, why it's valuable. So now that I sort of gave you a bit of an overview, let me know, what questions do you have? Does this sound interesting to you? What kind of profession are you in, or what kind of profession would you like to go into where you think this would be of benefit? Do you have any vocal training like this? If you're interested in becoming a voice actor, do you realize that voice actors that have careers have a background, if not in vocal training and performance and presentation technique, like from a performing arts school, for instance? Like I went to Tisch School of the Arts in New York City, and that was part of my foundational training. And I got more in Los Angeles when I started booking gigs and being on a mic all day long. And I would really get vocal strain and not be able to finish as strong if I'm doing auditions all day and 2 or 4 hours in a recording session in the morning and another couple hours in a recording session somewhere else in the afternoon. I needed to know how to maintain my vocal power and strength throughout the day. So I took more training. But my training actually began as a kid in musical theater. And a lot of voice actors have a background in musical theater or singing for the same reason, because your voice is an instrument. So the better you know how to use it, the more powerful it will become. It's a muscle that you train. And you can expand your range when you learn to play your instrument from high notes, which sound more passionate. If you're in sales, for instance, sales is often thought of as a transference of enthusiasm. So your higher note register, that allows you to transfer emotion to people, and the lower part of your range allows you to sound authoritative and like an expert and like you know what you're talking about. All right, let's get back to some of your questions. I'm curious what you think of all of this. People want me to keep all you guys want me to keep the green screen? Okay, fine. I'll put some interesting backgrounds on. Well, isn't that cool? The pop-up? All right. I'll do that by myself. Here, let's select a backdrop. We'll just go with some basic bricks right now. All right. So, questions. Specifically, it would be nice if we could talk about this free voice training video series, since I just released it today, and that's the topic of today's live stream. And I worked really hard on this for you guys too. Okay, so here's the questions. Hans, I think you've already seen the video series, so if you'd like to comment on that, that would be welcome, because I believe you're in my private Facebook group too. When you sign up to get the videos, you'll get an invite to the Facebook group as well, where I can answer more in-depth questions and continue this training process. So, okay, so what was Hans saying there? When you have guests on stream, I could use the green screen to make it look like they're in the room with me. I suppose. Do I care if they're in the room? We know they're not. Like, I'm all for the magic of cinema and all, but I don't think it'll be fooling anybody. I'm not isolating in Florida. Man, I wish I had not sold my waterfront property at this point. I used to live right on the water. I'd go out on my balcony and have my morning coffee and watch dolphins frolicking under palm trees. And that is not my view now. That was a couple of years ago. And I was on the road anyway. But now, that'd be very nice. I'm not complaining. There's certainly a lot of people have it a lot worse than me. But what the heck? I am complaining. I wish I still... Nobody cares. Okay. Someone was old enough to know the Ferris Bueller reference. Good movie. I think it's probably on Facebook. If you guys have not seen Ferris Bueller, I highly recommend it. One of the funny movies from the 80s. Allie remembers it too. Okay, we are all dating ourselves now. Okay, so now we're getting to the content here. So this really has my attention with the words versus the body language versus the tone. Yeah, this is a well-known statistic. It came from Stanford research originally, but in the training world, like when I'll speak to corporate audiences, it's pretty commonly known that 7% of communication is the content, the words that we use, and the thing that everybody spends all their time on is knowing their stuff. And the rest of it, the other 93%-ish, is based on style, right? This is why, you know how they say, like, a great actor can sit on the stage and read from the phone book, and you will be rapt at attention. For the younger viewers out there, a phone book is where we used to find people's phone numbers, and then we would reach over to the wall and pull a corded earpiece and go ding 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 ding, or if you really go brr brr, like, and call them. And we used to find these numbers in a phone book. So it was just a list of people's names and phone numbers. So the idea when you're in theater school, you're learning vocal training, which is typically in Performance Academy in the first place, they'll say, look, you have to be so captivating with your voice that you could sit on stage in front of a paying audience, read the phone book, read names and phone numbers, and hold that audience in the palm of your hand. And I'm telling you, it's true. A really good voice can do that to us because it moves us emotionally. It almost doesn't matter what they say. I'm sure you've had that experience where you just lean in and you just want to keep spending time with this person because they make you feel good. I mean, hopefully I'm doing that for you, which is why you're here watching, not just for the content, but for the feelings that it evokes. Content doesn't evoke feeling for the most part. Delivery does. So that's what you're learning. When you learn to strengthen the power of your voice and your confidence when you speak, especially publicly or on the mic, you're increasing your influence because you're increasing your ability to affect other people emotionally. So good little question and point there. All right. What did Ursula say, Andrew? Like Ursula from Little Mermaid? like Ursula said, don't underestimate the importance of body language. Okay. It's been a while. That's not one that my little daughter has gotten into so much, the Little Mermaid. I know she was the villain in that one, but it has been a while. Yeah. Yes, it will be useful in your vlogs. Right. That's look. Okay. Let me level with you people. Actually, hold on. New background for this point. Let's do this background. You see this? I used to basically live like this. Travel. I have a lifestyle business, right? One of the reasons I left Hollywood and being in a recording studio all day long is so that I could travel to wonderful locations around the world where they're having like incentive meetings and conferences and things at resorts. I've been to like over 40 countries doing this, and I would go there ahead of time and I'd hang out at the resort and I'd do a show or I'd do a speech in a conference room. And then we would all hang out at the beach or the pool or the bar or the restaurant and have a great time. Like, this is why I got in this business. As part of it is for the lifestyle. Guess what? That's not going away. I mean, that's not coming back. That's going away. It's not coming back anytime soon, okay? Sure, businesses may open back up and people, go back out into the world again. But now that we've learned to do this, actually, I don't like that home office. I like this one. Now that we've learned to do this, right? Actually, that's a really big, let me do a different, I got so many of these things. Let's do this. Yes, right? Now that we've learned to run interactions and meetings and business from home, do you think this is just going to disappear? No. Even when there's a cure for coronavirus, look, I know how to homeschool my kids now. I was always curious about it. It got easier over time. Now we all know how to do it. That will be some aspect of their education moving forwards. We know how to run meetings and create content and put ourselves out there online. The better you get at it now, the more valuable it will be for you over time, because this stuff is not going away. People are just going to get better at it. I had a statistic here. Actually, let me take this off for a second. Check this out. I read this statistic in the webinar that I ran for this corporate training earlier today. This is just unbelievable to me. It's never happened in our lives, like the adaptation of technology in a hockey stick line like this, okay? Online meetings are up 50% since the lockdown, like in the last couple months. Zoom has grown to 300 million daily. Yeah, that's right. I'm teaching you about how to use your voice, and I'm making mistakes with my enunciation. Yeah. Authenticity is important too. Don't pretend to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Not even me. All right, so Zoom has grown to 300 million daily users, up from 200 million in March. March was last month. They added 100 million daily users. And in December, Zoom had 10 million daily users. Now they have 300 million. And that's just on Zoom. So why am I telling you to learn to start to give professional presentations, train your voice, increase your communication skills? Because there's tens of millions of people out of work right now. A lot of those jobs are not going to come back, but a lot of the new ones that are created, or the ones that are maintained, are the ones that are adaptable to this sort of a situation, where you can sit at a desk on a microphone in front of a camera and communicate well with people. So that means communication skills are going to be one of the most valuable things that you can learn. The technology, sure. I mean, that's what the present like a pro. Change. This, you, right? Invest in yourself. Learn to be a better communicator, and you'll be able to come out on top even in the midst of a pandemic with just heart-wrenching job losses and economic consequences for people. It's not like everybody's going to be thrown out of work. Certain people are working harder than ever. Who are those people? First responders, healthcare providers. You're not going to suddenly become a nurse if you're not already. But the other people that are busier than ever are people that are doing this, that are communicating online. And that's about more than just technology. That's about being able to use your voice and create a connection through a camera and over a microphone. That's why that is why I have put together this training, this free voice training for you. Okay, so let's get back to your questions. All right, I'm going to throw another backdrop on there first. Let's be in a castle, shall we? Hello, if I'm in jolly old England in a castle, I think I'll answer your questions in a sort of a British accent, Julia. That's my monocle, my cravat. Actually, I do have a cravat. It's just funny. Sarah Kay, hey. Oh, yeah, you were here last week. Yeah, you can watch it later. That's fine. When is recess? Yeah, there is no recess. My kids are not getting exercise. When they want to... This is back when I was talking about homeschooling. When I'm homeschooling them and I'm like, okay, kids, we need to take a break and go outside. They want to go on like hoverboards, not walk around, run around with their kids. So, all right. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So there's Noah. Noah doesn't have training, but does want to be a voice actor. So there's a lot of things that go into being a voice actor, like at the point where you can be hired to do so. But fundamental to it is your ability to use your voice, because that is right there in the name. And it's amazing to me how many people actually go to the trouble of, say, moving to Los Angeles so they could be in Hollywood where the work is. But pretending like just because they showed up that somebody's going to hire them. Oh, I have an interesting voice, so people will hire me. No, it doesn't work that way. Even for animation, usually you give like 3 voices in a project because they get the next 2 for free in most kinds of contracts. So you have to have some vocal variety as well. But again, this is more than just for voice acting. Yes, it's foundational for voice acting, but it is important for any kind of relationship and any kind of communication in your life to have a dynamic, commanding, authoritative, expressive, energetic, empathetic, and other kinds of fancy words. Voice. Allie says it sounds like it would help with singing training. Yeah, absolutely. I don't pretend to be a vocal coach like that would teach singers. It's a little bit of a different take on this. There are a lot of people that do that. There are very few speaker trainers, though, that do voice coaching from the perspective of a voice actor, how to place your voice and train your voice to make more of an impact. But when you're singing, you want to be able to communicate emotion as well. So in that respect, yes, it would help you as a singer. Okay, so what's Noah saying? How long exactly till you stop selling your autographs? Soon? And when this is all over, will you put them back up on the store? Probably not. I probably won't put them back up on the store. Here's the link again for anybody that wanted the autograph cards. Honestly, I used to do these autographs a lot through the website because it's not like I'm at a Comic-Con every weekend. But it's a lot more fun and easier to do the Cameo video shoutouts. So I'm just going to only do autographs at live events and Comic-Cons from now on. All right, now, but the store link is still there. It's still there. I'll do them like probably for another week. So thank you for the question there. All right, Sam Vioca VA. Just subscribe to the email list, made the account. Yes, you do have to make the account. I couldn't figure out any way to have you not make the account. It's a security thing to have a password on there. But like I said, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You just need to make an account to keep your progress private, I guess. I don't know. It has to do with the platform. All I'm asking for is the email. But the whole password account thing is something I couldn't turn off on the platform. All right. So thank you for signing up. Let me know. I'll send you a link to the private Facebook group. Let me know how you're progressing through the course, how you like it, any questions you might have as well. I think by next week, by the time we do this YouTube live next week, I'll have some people on here that will have gone through the intro course, might be able to give some feedback, talk about things that they have learned, ways in which they have benefited from those insights, or maybe questions. You don't want the green screen. Okay, fine. I'll just, let me see. I'll put this on. This is what my room really looks like. Yeah. I live in a cupcake. This is so ridiculous. I put this up here for my daughter. My daughter is a fantastic singer. I think she has perfect pitch. So I want her to start recording things as well. Okay, now this is, I'm finding this to be nauseating. Let's just do this. All right. I'm not taking this green screen up and down for you people. It's up. Stay it up for a little bit at least. Here's a good question. Mo Jamie Music says, Mo Jamie, Mo Jamie, Mo Jamie Music says, what was it like to come back to Digimon after all these years? Well, I'll tell you, Mo Jamie Music. It was like riding a bike. It really, people say that. It's like riding a bike. It's like riding a bike. It was like riding a bike. When I came back to Digimon Try, I hadn't been in a recording studio in a couple of years. The last thing I had recorded was the audio book for my actual book, Finding Focus in a Changing World. And that's very different than being in a Hollywood recording studio where you've got, producers, directors, writers, other people, sound mixers, other people involved in the process. You just have one other person at max when you're recording a book. So going back into the studio, I heard beep, beep, beep in my headphones, and boom. It was amazing. I was shocked and flew right through that initial Digimon Try recording session, and I'm really glad that I came back to do it. Drac Aqua was late. All right. This will go down in your permanent record. No, just so you know. But we are glad you are here. Okay, I demand wolves in the background. I will work on that for the next time. This is the first time I'm using this background. All right. No. So, yeah, all right. I put the cyberpunk on for you. I don't think I have any cyberpunk music right now. All right, zooming right along. We're going to wrap this up soon. Okay, so, Hans. Oh, great. Hans is probably the only person here that's actually seen the videos. And Hans says, the content of the free videos is pretty in-depth, and it helps one understand the importance of everything that goes into public speaking and voice acting. Thank you for that, Hans. You are in the private Facebook group, so you actually got the link a little bit earlier than everybody else, so you were able to go through that. I personally, I don't feel it goes that in depth because I know what's coming in the paid course. The paid course is really in depth, and again, I'm running that for 50% off initially because I'm building it out as you're going through it. But the free course is probably more in depth than most people have ever encountered, because who teaches this stuff? Even voice actors don't have this training, and it limits their careers to whatever roles they're naturally capable of portraying. A phone book is what you use for prank calls. Do you remember the Jerky Boys? I remember the Jerky Boys used to do like some really good, I actually have some recordings of some really good prank calls from back in the day. I should play for you guys. I have one from Casey Kasem in a recording studio going ballistic on a sound recording engineer that made its rounds of all the Hollywood recording studios back when I was doing this sort of thing regularly. Maybe I'll play that next week. That would really make me laugh. All right. And the last few here as we wrap up. How does one train their voice to be like Mel Brooks? The man of 1,000 voices, right? Or Dawes Butler. Or there's been a number of people that have 1,000 voices like that. Well, this is how. This voice training is how. To learn how to place it and play all the instruments and layer it in different ways. Yeah, that is exactly how you would learn to do it, is through voice training. Because the voice that we have is a function of our upbringing. Our voices tell people so much about us, right? Where we grew up in terms of your accent, or what you might think of as the lack of an accent. Even I, that has what's called a flat American accent, it indicates I'm from the Midwest, because that's how they train newscasters, with this accent, a flat accent. So where we come from, what our socioeconomic status is, our level of education, this is so much that people can tell about us from our voices, and things that don't necessarily serve us well either, that we can overcome, because if we don't think about them and we incorporate a vocal style into our communication skills as a result of the way we were when we were kids, and never revisit it when we are adults, then we're only going to be as good as we can communicate, and we're going to be doomed to existing at a certain level. There are people, that are management potential, leadership potential, whose careers could go like this if only they could communicate as well as they can conceive. Right? It's not enough to have a good idea in here. You have to be able to express it out there. All right. Couple more. I'm going to get rid of this screen now for everybody's benefit because I'm done with that. Yeah. That was loud. Okay. Tips. Okay. Do you have any tips for vocal training? Oh, wait. I've got to turn the green screen off. Okay. Do you have any tips for vocal training when you have to shout at the top of your lungs, like in Dragon Ball Z? Yeah, actually I do. I have a whole section in the full vocal training course I put together on something called Alexander Technique, which combines with postural awareness and the way that you hold your physiology, your frame, right? And basically, the way I learned it was I was voicing the Lord of the Rings video games. I did Legolas and Gimli. Gimli sounds like this. On my axe. And he sounded really rough like this. It kind of scratches on the back of your throat. And I was doing a lot of battle scenes. Arr! Yaw! To battle! To war! For hours. Imagine doing that for hours and then having to go to another session. And doing that sort of thing all week long. Week after week. So I was ripping up my voice. I was afraid I was going to hurt my voice or lose my voice. Well, the Alexander Technique was invented specifically to help actors and performers recover their voices if they've strained their voice or lost their voice. It has to do with postural awareness. And it's too much to get into the whole technique right now, but I actually have a whole, I think there's 7 or 8 main sections in the full voice training course. That's a whole section in there because it's so important. It doesn't matter, how good you sound or how much vocal variety you have or how magnetic your personality is if it turns off because you've strained your voice or lost your voice. And when you're screaming and shouting at the top of your lungs, like Andrew asked there, yeah, very quickly you can strain your voice if you're not placing it correctly. But it has to do with physiology and posture. That's the real answer. Some of it has to do with diet as well. It's just one of the reasons that I stopped eating dairy years ago when I was voice acting. There's certain things that you could eat or drink that it's pretty obvious. Anything that would create mucus is going to harm your ability to vocalize well. So for the most part, I gave up dairy years ago, and it's been a good decision, even though I like ice cream, and I miss ice cream. I could make an army of myself with that green screen. Now you're thinking, that's right. All right, I'll get to work on that. All right, last few. And then we will be done within the next 5 or 6 minutes. Ty, you take over. Josh can't find his voice for some reason. The Ty voice is my voice. The Ty voice is very similar to how I used to sound before I trained my voice. Audio is gone. It is not. Wait a second. I've got a confidence monitor over there. I hear it. Just fine. Okay. Andrew, how do you messing with me? All right. How do you train your voice to get used to such passionate vocals? What do you do yourself to help heal your throat? Yeah, I'm not tea. No, I don't think it's a good idea. The tea with the honey and lemon is what most people do, but the tea is a diuretic. It will dry your throat out. Just water, really. Room temperature too. That's another tip I have in the course. Singers will tell you not to drink hot or cold liquids because your voice it's a muscle, right? And it'll constrict your vocal cords if you drink cold liquids like that. And tea and coffee, these are diuretics. They will dry you out. If you dry out your throat, then your voice can become hoarse, and that can add to the strain. The best thing to do is just to stay hydrated. The other thing, too, is to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Again, I'm getting into some of the course content here, and I talk at length about that in the course, but breathing, let's just say the diaphragmatic breathing, circular breathing, not being a mouth breather, all these things will help so that you don't hurt your voice in the first place. Because if you're speaking for a living, or if you're speaking in order to advance your career, whether or not your career is speaking specifically, you need to maintain command of your voice. So, okay, so we got BioLove here, or ByLove rather, saying, I am sadly one that craves social interaction, but I also tend to shy away from it when I notice people aren't noticing me. Well, don't put your self-worth in the hands of others like that, ByLove. Who cares if they are noticing you or not? To be a person of interest or have self-worth means you know that you have intrinsic value. They'll notice you when you start to radiate out that kind of energy. You don't have to do anything outlandish in order to capture their attention. That's a self-image thing is really what it comes down to. But the craving of the social interaction, I think that's most of us, right? Because we are social creatures. There's a certain amount of self-knowing that can occur from a situation like this where we're all isolating at home, but it's not ultimately how we are meant to be. That's why we have societies. That's why we're not, like, human beings are not nomadic creatures, right? We live together in groups because that group dynamic is good for our mental and emotional well-being. But there's an aspect of that occurring right now in these YouTube lives. That's one of the reasons I'm doing them every week. So it gives people a way to interact and know that you are not alone. You are not alone. Just feels that way. Nobody's right in front of you. I get that. So thank you for sharing. So Castle Wolfenstein, I remember that video game. That is an old one. I don't know if that's around anymore. I remember that from like Atari. I'm really dating myself with the Atari reference. That was probably my first video game system. I don't really play video games anymore. I haven't had an interest in it in a long time since I started voicing video games, because you can't make content and consume content all day long. You can pretty much only do one or the other. There are people that say, oh yeah, I'm a gamer. I love to play games and make it. No, how are you? It takes a lot of time and focus to make stuff. It's hard to also consume the stuff. But I did used to play the Castle Wolfenstein many, many years ago. And now we do have a Wii, though. We do have a Wii. My kids and I like to play Sonic on the Wii, and also the Mario Kart, just basic stuff like that. The background is giving you vibes from Gargoyles. I've never seen Gargoyles, but I do have Disney Plus for the kids now, so maybe we will put that on the list. All right, I got like 2 minutes left. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was a Hogwarts vibe from that castle background. There needs to be like some banners and ghosts floating it around. So Andrew would love to be a voice actor. Yeah, well then, get the training. The link to the 5 free videos in that Intro to Voice Training series is down below. I'm happy to give that to you guys. This person also wants it as well. Anything worth having in your life is worth working for. So a career in voice acting or any kind of acting is like any other career. It's called show business for a reason. It's a business. It requires training. There are things that you need to learn and know in order to do it well and be able to sustain yourself in that profession. And this is a great way to learn. So if you want to voice act, get some training. There isn't a lot of it out there, especially for free. And you've got the link to the free videos down below. So that's it. Until next Friday, I hope you guys take advantage of that free offer. Have a great weekend. And thanks for being